So, the three ways that people misdraw cylindrical or elliptical forms. First way is that they will draw the top ellipse correctly. So let's just imagine that this is like a can of paint or something. But then their eyes and their perception, their brain tells them that it looks like the cylinder or whatever form it is, that it looks like it's sitting on a flat surface, so their brain tells them that they need to draw it like how it looks to them, and they'll draw it like that. So this will be correct in terms of the dimension, the top ellipse, but as it moves down, people have a tendency to draw it flat like that. But what you have to remember is that these ellipses, as they move down, and this is going to be the rule of ellipses, is that they're going to slowly get wider and to actually make them look like they have dimension, they have to move down like this. And they're always as they move down from the top ellipse, whatever that width is, they're always going to get wider. Even if your brain or your eye tells you differently, they're always going to get wider as they move down. That's according to how you're going to want to make things look like they actually have volume and dimension, following the rules of perspective. The other way that people have a tendency to draw is that they will draw the corners where they start looking like they're pointing. Okay, and that's also incorrect. You don't want your corners of your ellipses to look pointy, because they're going to end up basically flattening out. And so you really want to think about, when you're drawing your ellipses, to really use your wrist. Okay, and these corners are always going to be round. They're never going to be pointy like this. The minute that you do this, the minute that they're going to end up losing all sense of dimension or volume. So just know that when you're practicing, when you're doing ellipses, you just have to really try to use your wrist, and try not to draw them like this and try to form it like that. Try to really use your wrist to form the ellipses. And that will give you like a nice kind of fluid flow to trying to figure out the symmetrical aspects of them. The other way that people draw ellipses is when they are really kind of like dumpy looking, like this. Okay, where it kind of looks like bad ceramics or something. So again, you want to avoid, just really think about using your wrist as much as possible to form the ellipse, and that will give them a nice flow and fluidity. So if this is the eye level line, and this is a glass that's falling below the eye level line, as you can see, these ellipses, as they start getting closer to the eye level line, are going to start getting, the width of them is going to get to the point where if it was sitting right on the top, that the top of the glass would look flat. Okay, but as these ellipses start moving down, you can see, and to try to form them, if you do like what's called the minor axis line, you can start making sure that the symmetry of them is equal. And then the other thing is that when you form the glass, the first thing you want to start off with is the center axis line, and then you want to figure out the width of the form, and obviously both sides need to be equal. And again, the rule is that as these ellipses move down, they're going to get wider no matter what, and that will make the glass look dimensional. If this glass starts moving above eye level. Again, slowly, the ellipses, as they start moving above, are going to slowly start getting wider as they start moving above. So this has almost become like, if you think about it in terms of it being like maybe like a tube. So again, I want to make sure I form this as correctly as possible. And again, as they move up, they're going to start getting wider above eye level. And as they get back closer to eye level, the width is going to start getting to the point where it's almost flat again. Okay. So if this is a tube moving up, it would look like this. Okay, and you wouldn't be able to see down to the top of it because it's moving up above eye level this way. So again, these ellipses, as they move up, are going to start getting wider, and as they move down below eye level, they're going to start getting wider. So what I want you to do is, with the horizontal orientation, I want you to establish an eye level line, and then what these are designating, these rectangles, they're more rectangular than square, is what I've done is I've drawn an access line, and I'm going to draw glasses that come out of these three. One of them is above eye level, so this is my established eye level line. One of them is above and below eye level, and then one of them is below eye level. So what I did was I determined this is going to be the height and the width of each glass, okay? And I'm just doing these from my imagination. Height and width of each glass. Both sides are perfectly symmetrical, so they're completely equal, okay? So you want to make sure you draw what's called the major access line down the center of each, the height and the width that you've determined is going to be each glass, okay? And then I'm going to form and take out the elliptical structure out of the glass. Now what I've done so again, I'm going to take my glass out. One glass is going to come out of each one of these. Now what I've done with this one is I've created the minor and the major access line, the minor access line for this top ellipse, okay? So I determined it's going to be that wide, okay? And now this is going to be the middle ellipse, and this is going to be the ellipse that's getting closest to eye level. It's going to have the least amount of width. As they're moving up, I determined this one's going to be this wide, and as you can see, I'm going to take each ellipse out of these that I've designated in terms of the width. And as you can see, the width is increasing as it moves up. This one is on eye level, so these two that I've determined, I'm going to take the ellipses out of those. Those are closer to eye level, so the width is going to be it's barely going to have any width at all, okay? But as it's moving down, again, this is going to be, I've made this for the bottom ellipse, and as this is moving up, this is going to be the top ellipse. Because this glass is sitting above and below eye level. I'm going to take the glass out of this one that's below eye level, so this is going to be the ellipse. Determine the width for the one closest to it is going to be that wide, this one's going to be this wide, and that one's going to be wider. So again, as these are moving down, the width of the ellipses are going to increase, and they're going to get wider. So now you can see that I've taken this ellipse out of this top little quadrant that I created, okay, and I formed it out of that. It's the widest one in this glass because it's moving above eye level. So again, just remember the rule. As these move up, these ellipses are going to get wider. This is the one in the middle. It's not as wide as that one, and this is the one below it that's closest to eye level, and it has the least amount of width. This is going to be a glass that's sitting above and below eye level. These ellipses that are closest to eye level have the least amount of width. This one above it has more width because it's moving above eye level. Again, these are going to get wider as they move up. And as these move down, they're going to get wider as they move down. This is the bottom ellipse. This one over here, this glass is completely below eye level. This is the one, this ellipse is closest to eye level. It has the least amount of width. The one below it is generating more width, and the one below that one obviously is wider than the center one. So again, as they move down below eye level, they're going to get wider. So now if I go back and I solidify it, now this glass is above eye level and I'm looking inside of it. This is the bottom ellipse. So this would be the interior looking up. I can't see the top of it. It just looks like it's curving up because it's above eye level. This glass is sitting above and below eye level. So it's just going to be solid, completely solid. The top rim is going to look like this. The bottom rim is going to look like this. And it's just basically, you can't look in, you can't look up into it or down into it because it's falling above and below eye level. And then this glass is falling below eye level, so this would be looking down into the interior of it, and I could see inside of it because it's below eye level. And then as it solidifies down, this is going to be the volume and dimension as it moves down. So again, as the ellipses move down, they're getting wider. As they move down below eye level here, they're getting wider. As they start moving up above eye level, they're going to get wider. Same thing with this glass. As these ellipses move up, they're going to get wider.